There you are, you cheeky little thing.
It's always good to have that stuff to get you out of trouble.
Welcome to the show where the circuits glow. Morse code never dies in home lab skies. Transistors and waves.
I guess this is a video about portable problems. It's about the things that can go wrong. And I guess by the end of this video, the things that I need to do to perhaps make my portable operation a little bit less problematic. It is about 7 o'clock Saturday morning. Yesterday was my birthday and I had an absolutely fantastic day. Went to work. That doesn't sound like a great start. When I got to the coffee shop across the road where I normally get my coffee, my son, who actually works with me at the school I work at, had already paid for my coffee. So coffee was free. And the staff said happy birthday to me, which was very nice. Lots of birthday blessings. Then first break for morning tea, the department, the technical and applied science department, put on a spread for me, cakes and snacks, which was very, very nice. And then at the end of the day, the students, in period 6, my engineering students brought me muffins, about 6 of them, and sang me happy birthday, which was very nice as well. And then end of the day, a sneaky couple of beers at the local with some compatriots from work. My son then bought a pizza and some chicken wings, and his girlfriend, Ellie, got me a really, really nice cake. Absolutely blessed and feeling wanted. Now, we are off to Mudgee today, and the plan is to pack a go bag and a laptop, and we might do a little bit of FT8 and CW at the country location we're going to, and I will show you on a map here where Mudgee is relative to Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. And it's a rural setting, so hopefully there's not too much local noise. And we'll pop the antenna up in the evening. Let's see if we can get some QSOs. We are packed and ready to go.
There you are, you cheeky little thing.
Totally normalized. Yeah, so there is that backdrop, which is whatsoever. That's a really good point. We've talked about the reason why it should be resonating with. Thank you.
Thank you. Dumb.
Do you get much time bonding these kids? What do you think of that?
Well, it's about 9:45, and I'm in the car across the road from the holiday farm stay. Unfortunately, directly over the driveway, they always say look up and live, and I'm always doing that when I pop the antenna up because it's 9 meters high. We have high tension lines running above the driveway. I've pulled over on the other side of the road. Now, I could go for a bit of a drive and find a better spot, but I don't think I have the energy. So we're going to set up here, across the road, a good enough distance that if the antenna falls over, it doesn't go anywhere near the lines themselves. It's probably going to be noisy, but we're going to give it a shot and see what happens.
Well, we are dead in the water. Apart from syncing issues with the PC to get FD8 to work on WSJTX, we have a dead power cord. So it's over, Red Rover.
Last night was a wee bit of a disaster. Had a great day. Probably should have gone for a couple of days. We didn't really have the time to do that. So ham radio was not the focus of this trip. We decided to go up to the car and do some portable operating. So we parked the car across the road and proceeded to set up the antenna and whatnot. The top of the antenna broke off, so we need to come up with a better arrangement for the top of the antenna, which is going to be part of this video. And we also had the power cable fail on us. Now, this cable has been something that's evolved over time and become more and more convoluted. There's certain things that I've looked at that I think should have been changed a long time ago. These screw down contacts here, these were used when I was playing around with my direct conversion receiver and I needed to power it off a battery, and I never really replaced them. So they've always been a point of failure. Because I'm running the QMX on this thing now, that jack now has some power diodes in here to create a bit of a voltage drop to bring it down to the 12 volts that the QMX wants to see, because the battery, when it's fully charged, is sometimes close to 14 volts, which is way too high. This is a way of charging the battery. If I slide the contacts onto the battery, you can plug the actual charger in this. So we can use the cable for charging and also for powering the radio. And these are the contacts that slide onto the actual battery. So the plan is to get rid of this stiff mains cabling that makes this thing so cumbersome. Oh yes, we also have an inline fuse, which, you know, for me is amazing that I've actually taken the time to do that and be safe. But the plan is to cut all of this stuff off, make the cable a good 1.5 meters long, just so that we've got a little bit more length on it, and make it from cable that's flexible. Get rid of these failure points, solder, and also heat shrink connections, and just make a cable that I can be proud of and that I can rely on. Well, we need to operate on this defunct power lead, remove all the bits that we want to keep. Okay. Well, we definitely want our fuse holder, so we'll get that out. We obviously want our leads to the battery, both the positive and the negative lead. Well, of course, we are requiring our battery charger section as well. And last but not leastly, we are requiring our barrel jack. And the rest of this can go in the bin. We fired up the soldering iron, and we should be good to go as soon as we find some wire that might be doing a better job than what we had. Now, I'm understanding that inside this big roll of tape, we have the resistors that I installed. So what I'll probably do is just have a look at how bad this is, or how good this is, as the case may be. Yep, resistors are definitely hiding inside this. Yep, there they are there. That's good. So I think we'll be okay to go. We might just strip this end here. Well, we managed to find this wire here, which is like an audio cable, but it's got a nice amount of copper in it.
so it'll carry the current no problem at all. The plan is to put the charging port at this end away from where the diodes are, so we're not worrying about that diode drop. And this will be our positive, and we'll pop our negative lead in there as well. So everything will be happening at this end, and we will fuse it at this end as well. Do everything at this end, and then the diodes and the actual barrel jack will happen at the other end. We have our heat shrink in place, our leads. We're going to solder all of these in position. That's to charge, that's to go on the battery, and we have also put in a fuse. We'll go there. These are off to battery terminals. So we will get plenty of heat shrink over this thing to make sure that it behaves itself. And we get our power hairdryer and shrink that heat shrink down. Let's get these diodes in place. Cable tie just to stop these cables from spreading. And we may even throw a bit of tape over the end of this as well. Cannot hurt to reinforce this as much as possible. So there you have it, folks. That's the barrel end of my power cable. I have a cable that, for me anyway, makes a lot more sense. Decent length to give me a little bit of play in the car if I'm using it in the car, about where I place the battery, and access to the fuse should I need it. They're my leads that go on the battery terminals. I'm hoping they fit. Let's have a look. Oaksy doksy. We've got a bit of tape on the positive terminal so we don't blow ourselves up. That's the, oh, I probably should check this to make sure it's not a dead short. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? Yep, open circuit. So that's good. Okay, folks, this is our battery charger. And it has a plug like that on it. We are going to get them to plug together. And that means that I can use the same cord that I used to power the QMX to charge the battery. It just makes life so much easier when I get back to the shack, just to use the same cable. Sorry, it's plugged into the cable, and we'll plug it in, see if it's charging. Positive to positive, negative to negative, and as you can see there, battery is charging. Here is our QMX. Let's grab our barrel jack, plug that in the back, and will it turn on? That is the $64 million question. Power, and there you have it. Now, the squid pole also had some issues. So the plan is, at some point in time, this is probably going to snap over and over again. The smart person in me says just get rid of it, but I'm going to leave it there for as long as I can. What I need to do is just attach a bit of wire at the end of this, and I'm probably going to go the same way I did last time, but with a lot more tape and a lot more cable ties, and hopefully it lasts a little while. I'll be back in a second to show you that bodgy fix that I'm going to try. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Why do a bodgy fix? But I'm kind of like wanting this to be as high as possible. So we'll play with this skinny bit that we've got at the top, and then at some point in time we may add to it or do something that's more functional. Back soon.
So that is basically antenna fixed. I tie that around the egg on the end, the egg insulator on the end of the antenna. And there's not a lot of weight in that, so it should be fine. Now, I will make sure from now on that in my kit, I have a screwdriver and some cutters and some tape and maybe some cable ties. It's always good to have that stuff to get you out of trouble. It's nice and accessible, and we'll pop our top on, and we're ready for next time we attempt car tenor or portable operation. Well, thank you, folks. If you've managed to get to the very end of the video, that is very much appreciated. As you have seen from this video, portable operation is well worth the effort, but you need to get your setup reliable and right for the purpose. Now, this setup that I've got here, portable from a park or in the car, is going to be great. I'm going to need to set myself, if I want to do some soda and really do some long distance trekking, I'm going to need to lighten up this kit a lot. So that will be in future episodes and when I have the time, because present moment work is killing me. I'm loving it, but it takes up a lot of my time. So we all need to remember that we love this hobby, but it is a hobby. Not all of us can be radio professionals. Some of us need to be amateurs. 7-3, and I shall see you in the next episode of The Art of Engineering.